the interactive content exchange by Interactive Ontario. Vidcast 1.
This is Vidcast 1 for the Interactive Content Exchange 2008, and it's brought to you in association with Interactive Ontario. I'm Steve McGarry, host of GeekNews.com, the new pop culture, new media news magazine program, which you've probably never heard of before because we're Canadian and we're online and we're trying. Now, if you missed ICE 2008, the following recaps will give you a quick glimpse at the eMecca event, which transpired on March 26th to the 28th of 2008. If you were there, you're probably going to wonder after viewing the following if you even attended the right conference to begin with. Now, at any rate, ICE 08 proved to be a grandiose gathering of exchanges of ideas in relation to interactive media, not only from a Canadian angle, but on a global level. ICE featured participants from as far away as Asia, Australia, the great state of New York, and of course some higher-ups from Ontario we also had on hand. Some from the outskirts of the Durham region jewel called Oshawa, to just a few blocks away on Queen Street in our very own GTA. One of the underlying themes of ICE 08 was the concept of innovation, creativity, and enterprise, which we hope, underlying hope here, will come through during the following presentation. The innovation and creativity angle we've got covered. As for the enterprise,
space, the final frontier.
It's the best we can come up with. So before we get to the historic event itself, here's what was making history on the web, Geek News style.
Geek News.
Urban journalism with web appeal revealed behind-the-scenes imagery of protests and violence concerning Beijing's crackdown on independence activists opposed to a Chinese-occupied Tibet. The future Olympic game torchbearers would end up blocking various ISPs in an effort to stem the flow of information to and from the country. The move would keep over 20% of the world's population from finding out that
A chocolate rain
by Tay Zonde would be the winner in the musical category from YouTube's 2007 Video Award centerpiece. Another winning notable would be Guillaume Raymond's Human Tetris performance. The end of March would also see conspiracy virals kicking into high gear with new vids of alien autopsies, UFOs in Mexico, Star Destroyers in Russia, only to prove that geeks with consumer-based CG software had way too much time on their hands.
Are you an artist or a tradesperson? Why not jazz up your website?
Do you need a website?
We can help with that.
Back in Canada, British Columbia couple Fred and Sharon Spencer would go viral to show that Canucks are a force to be reckoned with when it comes to producing online content on a global scale.
Imagine a movie of their theater or stage production. What about prom night or a special evening out?
What about animation?
Their video, Who Needs a Movie, hit the 700,000 download mark as the Internet Content Exchange was in full swing. And finally in Toronto, disgruntled Maple Leaf supporters launched UpsetFan.com to vent over the Buds' third-year playoff drought. The site allows loyal but upset fans the opportunity to buy bags to wear on their heads, giving yet another reason for cute toddlers to laugh uncontrollably. All right, enough of the baby. Here's the kickoff to ICE 08 for March 26th, day one.
ICE 08.
What was to be Timothy Eaton's larger-than-life department store of the 1930s would end up being the setting for the third annual three-day ICE 08 e-conference event at the Carlu. Day one registration was handled by the Interactive Ontario group, who hurriedly fielded through oncoming delegates and crossed off their checklist for attendees who would end up making a beeline over to the Round Room for the RIM-sponsored Icebreaker. Now that's where delegates had a chance to mingle before the opening reception welcome and get a one-up on what was going on in the world of new media.
Just hearing about what other people, what concepts are coming out of Canada at the moment and seeing how they can revolutionize what new media is all about.
And it was the theme of new media devices that were on the menu, as Blackberry martinis were served along with the lamb kofta, which tonight would be known as the Blackberry Curve, aka meat on a stick for the simple folk among us.
Good evening,
everybody. Welcome to ICE 2008.
Taking center stage first was Interactive Ontario President Ian Kelso, who, after opening welcome remarks, had some positive news for interactive companies in regards to the new upswing in funding thanks to the Ontario government and the OMDC.
It's got $7 million for 4 years to invest in stuff that's made here. So we're very, very pleased to see, once again, a little bit more investment from our friends and partners in the Ontario government.
In Ontario, I think the government has certainly woken up to the big opportunities that exist. In the video game industry, for example, you know, there are billions and billions more dollars being made in the world every year on video games, and Canada creates the talent.
And another economic shot in the arm for the digital sector was an overview of the new Next Generation Jobs Fund, which has 1.15 billion reasons for Canadian businesses to get involved in the new economy. Up next, Waterloo Wireless juggernauts and icebreaker sponsors RIM took center stage for a quick stopover. The BlackBerry makers had a great showing on the fiscal side with a 102% increase from the same revenue quarter last year, and talked about the exciting avenues of online content through their smartphone. The world's leader in mobile communications made it known it was looking forward to the creativity and ideas that ICE 08 had to offer.
BlackBerry is all about collaboration, creativity, exchange of ideas. BlackBerry is all about surprising people.
RIM would also surprise the crowd with a gaming announcement that parallels this viral video in many ways. Except it was a good thing.
And something that I think is going to surprise a lot of people. Next week, you'll be able to download to your BlackBerry Guitar Hero for the BlackBerry.
Talk about big news. The Rockberry, that we could call it now gives users the opportunity to access what can only be described as a pop culture phenomenon in the world of gaming. The game franchise that sold over 14 million units worldwide.
Guitar Hero.
No stranger to video games, keynote speaker and Eline Ventures co-founder and managing partner Alan Gershenfeld was up next. The former head of Activision, which actually publishes the previously mentioned Guitar Hero, as well as the company behind Dad's Atari 2600 favorite, Pitfall, stupid, would go on to address the crowd on his thesis of investing in innovations that would bring in financial gains that were made to make a positive social impact. Enter the new business model of the social entrepreneur, who's engaging, innovative, and sexy.
You know, social entrepreneurship has become sexy. There's no line between a nonprofit and a social entrepreneur. In general, I think the term refers to people doing very innovative things that perhaps haven't been done before, including but not limited to market-based solutions to the world's problems.
Examples of games that make a difference can be found at Games for Change, an organization which Gershenfeld is a member of. It provides support for individuals and organizations which use digital games for social change.
I firmly believe that it is possible to take the participant model to games. I would love to see some big budget games that can compete openly in the market, that get people engaged in the critical issues of the day, or empower kids or the target audience in really visceral ways. It's not easy, but I believe it's doable.
And that about wraps it up for day one. Coming up next for ICE 2008.
So over the next 2 days, we are pleased to present over 100 speakers.
The conferences begin with keynotes focusing on creative convergence, new distribution channels for Canadian media, a look at what's moving in mobile games, and pitching ideas for tech and new media from the concert hall.
And he really is a cyborg.
Plus, we'll have a sneak peek at the movers and shakers featured within ICE 08's digital product showcase. And delegates break out their Wii's, nunchucks, for some gaming at the ICE Gala.
Let's see what you've got.
And we'll shed some light on one of the most anticipated gaming titles this side of the console wars. Dark Sector, an ICE 2008 exclusive.